Hey guys, welcome to Through the Bible Verse by Verse, a plain and simple study of the entire Bible, book by book, chapter by chapter, and verse by verse. Um, we are in 2 Kings chapter 14. We're going to do chapter 14 and 15, and kind of moving on. We're not going to spend too much time on the kings of Judah because we will spend more time when we get the Chronicles. So that's why I'm kind of able to move a little faster through these couple of chapters here. But this is going to be an interesting chapter as well. These two chapters here. I mean, to me, they're all, they're all fascinating, But, and again, want to apologize, beforehand for these Hebrew names and pronunciation that I will butcher. All right, so 2 Kings 14, verse 1. In the second year of Israel's king, Jehoash, son of Jehoaz, Amaziah, son of I just had this too. Amaziah. You know what? I'm going to do something that I don't do normally here. You guys may hear this.
Amaziah.
Okay, so that's what it is. I'll put it on the thing. Amaziah. Alright, I just can let it bother me. Alright, so Amaziah, son of Joash, became king of Judah. I won't do that often either. But this little sound effect on the computer here. Alright, I digress for sure. Verse 2. He was 25 years old and he became king, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jehoadan, and was from Jerusalem. He did what was right in the Lord's sight, but not like his ancestor David. He did everything his father Joash had done. Yet the high places were not taken away, and the people continued sacrificing and burning incense on the high places. So we see that this is a constant, again, plague from both kingdoms. Verse 5, and as soon as the kingdom was firmly in his grasp, Amaziah killed his servants who had murdered his father, the king. However, he did not put the children of the murderers to death, as it is written in the book of the law of Moses, where the Lord commanded fathers must not be put to death because of the children, and the children must not be put to death because of the fathers. Instead, each one will be put to death for his own sin. Now, it is interesting here. Remember, his father Joash was murdered before him in a conspiracy. And then he puts this little thought in that not the children. Now, that's not, if you kind of go back in a few chapters, remember Athaliah, Jezebel certainly didn't obey this command and killed all of the children. Verse 7, Amaziah killed 10,000 Edomites in the valley of Salt. He took Selah in battle and called it Joktheel, which is its name to this very day. Amaziah then sent messengers to Jehoash, son of Joaz, son of Jehu, king of Israel, saying, "Come, let us meet face to face." Now, this is always kind of amazing. We have a couple of kings who have done this. Amaziah was, for the most part, a good king, but pride. Okay, that's all I can say is pride. Verse 9. King Joash of Israel sent word to Amaziah, king of Judah, saying that the thistle that was in Lebanon once sent a message to the cedar that was in Lebanon, saying, "Give your daughter to my son as wife." Then a wild animal that was in Lebanon passed by and trampled the thistle. You have indeed defeated Edom, and you have become overconfident. Enjoy your glory and stay home. Why should you stir up such trouble that you fall, you and Judah with you? Now, what is amazing here is this king is telling them, look, you've been doing good. You had some victories, but now you're overconfident. Don't pick a fight here. There's no fight. Stay home. But Amaziah would not listen. So King Joash of Israel advanced. He and King Amaziah of Judah faced off at Beth Shemesh, that belongs to Judah. And Judah was routed before Israel, and everyone fled to his own tent. King Jehoash of Israel captured Judah's king Amaziah, son of Joash, son of Ahaziah, at Beth Shemesh. Then Joash went to Jerusalem and broke down 200 yards of Jerusalem wall from Ephraim gate to the corner gate. He took all the gold, the silver, and the articles found in the Lord's temple and the treasuries of the king's palace and some hostages, and he returned to Samaria. Kind of interesting that the king of Israel would break the wall of Jerusalem and raid the temple. I mean, even though there were two nations, this was still God's temple. Just kind of a note there. The rest of the events of Jehoash's reign, along with his accomplishments, his might, and how he waged war against Amaziah, king of Judah, are written in historical records of the king of Israel's kings. Jehoash rested with his father, and he was buried in Samaria with the king of Israel. His son Jeroboam became king in this place. Judah's king Amaziah, son of Joash, lived 15 years after the death of Israel's king Joash, son of Jehoash. The rest of the events of Amaziah's reign, Amaziah's reign, are written in historical records of Judah's king. A conspiracy was formed against him in Jerusalem, and he fled to Lachish. However, men were sent after him to Lachish, and there they put him to death, and they carried him back on horses. He was buried in Jerusalem with his father in the city of David. Then all the people of Judah took Azariah, who was 16 years old, and made him king in place of his father Amaziah, and he rebuilt Elath and restored it to Jerusalem after Amaziah the king rested with his fathers. In the 15th year of Judah's king Amaziah, son of Joash, Jeroboam, son of Jehoash, became king in Israel and Samaria and reigned 41 years. He did what was evil in the Lord's sight. He did not turn away from all the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, which caused Israel to sin. Remember those two golden calves. He restored Israel's borders from Labo Hamath as far as the sea of Arabah, according to the word of the Lord. And the God of Israel had spoken through his servants, the prophet Jonah, son of Amittai, from Gath Helper. Now, this is very interesting here when he mentions Jonah. We don't know enough information about Jonah. This is the same Jonah that we see with the prophet Jonah, the great fish, the whale, right here, that the whale swallowed him up. I'm bringing this up because this is kind of a good Bible lesson here. Seminary theology. When we talk about the minor prophets and sometimes how you date prophets in writings, we get this here. We get this what's the king of my land here? All right, Jeroboam. Let me go back quickly here. Where are we at? Jeroboam. Am I the king of Judah? The king? Oh, do I? No. Let me go back. I just want to give you a timeline here. That's just this one right here. I just want to find you right here, Jeroboam, right at the timeline. And the reason why I say this is because when we get to the writing of the prophets, right? When we get to that section, and then we come upon what's called the minor prophets. You get a bigger picture, and obviously I get more into it when we talk about it then. But the fact that he mentions Jonah, this is to me a good way of locating the time. I'll get to this later because he's right around the time of Isaiah, but I'll get to that. Okay, so this is just interesting here. His servant, the prophet Jonah, the son of Amittai from Gath Hefer. First, for the Lord saw that the affliction of Israel was very bitter. There was no one to help Israel, neither bond nor free. However, the Lord had not said he would blot out the name of Israel under heaven. So he delivered them by the hand of Jeroboam, son of Jehoash. The rest of the events of Jeroboam's reign, along with all his accomplishments and the power he had to wage war, and how he had recovered for Israel Damascus and Hamath, which had belonged to Judah, are written in the historical records of the king of Israel. Jeroboam rested with his fathers, and the king of Israel, his son Zechariah, became king in his place. Again, I like these kind of information that we get right here. Also, like I say, to throw in a timeline too. This is, by the way, how you also can tell that Jonah was a true prophet, because he's mentioned. When another prophet mentions another prophet, that validates that ministry. All right, chapter 15. In the 27th year of Israel's king Jeroboam, Azariah, son of Amaziah, became king of Judah. He was 16 years old when he became king, and he reigned for 52 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jecolah, who was from Jerusalem. Again, I'm going to butcher these names. Apologies beforehand. Azariah did what was right in the Lord's sight, just as his father Amaziah had done. Yet the high places were not taken away. The people continued sacrificing and burning incense on the high places. The Lord afflicted the king, and he had a serious skin disease until the day of his death, meaning leprosy. He lived in a separate house, while Jotham, the king's son, was over the household, governing the people of the land. A dreadful disease during the time. They did not have a cure for it. Leprosy is curable today, but it was such a contagious disease. And notice here that this great king had to live in a separate house, even though he was king. The rest of the acts of Azariah's reign, along with all of his accomplishments, are written in historical records of Judah's king. Azariah rested with his father and was buried with his fathers in the city of David. His son Jotham became king in his place. In the 38th year of Judah's king Azariah, Zechariah, the son of Jeroboam, became king over Israel for 6 months. He did what was evil in the Lord's sight, as his fathers had done. He had not turned away from the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, and caused Israel to sin. Shallum, son of Jabash, conspired against him, and he struck him down publicly, killed him, and became king in his place. As for the rest of the events of Zechariah's reign, they are not written in historical kings of Israel. And the word of the Lord that he had spoke through Jehu with 4 generations of your sons within the throne of Israel, and it was so. For he was the son of, again, Jehu. Verse 13, in the 39th year of Judah's king Uzziah, Shallum, son of Jabash, became king, and he reigned in Samaria a full month. Now, we will get to Uzziah. He is one of the great kings of Israel, but of course, in more detail in Chronicles. Verse 14, then Menahem, son of Gadi, came up from Tirzah to Samaria and struck down Shallum, son of Jabash there. He killed him and became king in his place. As for the rest of the acts The rest of the events of Shallum's reign, along with the conspiracy that he formed, they are written in historical records of the king of Israel. At that time, starting from Tezrah, Menahem attacked Tizphah, all who were in it, and its territory, because they wouldn't surrender. And he attacked it and ripped open all the pregnant women. Now this is kind of gruesome here, right? So he would just take a knife or the sword, just kill. Again, it was the brutality when you think about these sinful, wicked people. 17. In the 39th year of Judah's king Araziah, Menahem, son of Gadi, became king over Israel and reigned 10 years in Samaria. He did what was evil in the Lord's sight throughout his reign. He did not turn away from the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, had caused Israel to sin. Now remember, these were the two golden calves. Okay. Now, what's interesting about this next verse is we're going to begin to see the fall of Israel. Let me see if I can find him right quick, because this is something that is interesting. Gadi, where is he at? Shalom. Now remember some of these names. Menahem, he's not mentioned here. Okay. Okay, I'll come back to him, but I'm showing you the timeline here. 1731. I want you to note this time here, 1731. Okay, 1720, and then the fall. Here's what I want you to point out. Hosea will be the last king of Israel. Okay, notice the date, 1731, and then Israel's king. Oh, come on here. Here we go. All right, 597. That's why I said so. About 100 years. We'll get back to that. But you're going to. The reason I said that because in verse 19, Pul, king of Assyria. So you're starting to see the beginning of Israel would be first to fall. Then and this land is going to be kind of like desolate. Then for 100 years, and then Judah will fall to Nebuchadnezzar. 19. Pul, king of Assyria, invaded the land. So Menahem gave Pul 75 pounds of silver so that Pul would support him to strengthen his grip on the kingdom. Then Menahem exacted 20 ounces of silver from each of the wealthy men of Israel to give to the king of Assyria. So the king of Assyria withdrew and did not stay there in the land. Now we're going to see this later. He's going to come back and he will be deported. The rest of the events of Menahem reigned, along with all of his accomplishments, are not written in historical records of the king. And Menahem rested with his father and his son Pekaniah became king in his place. In the 50th year of Judah's king Azariah, Pekahiah, son of Menahem, became king over Israel and Samaria, and he reigned 2 years. He did what was evil in the Lord's sight and did not turn away from the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, that caused Israel to commit sins. Then his officers, Pecan, son of Remaliah, conspired against him and struck him down in Samaria at the citadel of the king's palace, as well as Argob and Arib. There were 50 Gileadite men with Pecan, and he killed Pekaniah and became king in his place. As for the rest of the acts of Pekaniah reign, along with his accomplishments, are then written in historical records of the king. So again, we kind of see this brutality, this politics, evil politics. Verse 27. In the 52nd year of Judah's king Araziah, Pekah, son of Remaliah, came king over Israel and Samaria and reigned 20 years. He did what was evil in the Lord's sight. He did not turn away from the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, that caused Israel to commit. In the days of Pekin, king of Israel, Pisaler, king of Assyria, came up and captured Aijan. Abel, Beth Mecca, Jonah, Kazar, Hazar, Gilad, and Gilead, all the land of Naphtali, and deported the people to Assyria. Okay. Then Hosea, son of Elah, organized a conspiracy against Pekah, son of Remaliah, and attacked him and killed him. And he became king in his place in the 20th year of Jotham, son of Uzziah. As for the rest of the events of Pekah's reign, along with all its accomplishments, are they now written in historical records of Israel's king. In the second year of Israel's king Pekah, son of Remaliah, Jotham, son of Uzziah, became king of Judah. He was 25 years old when he became king. He reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jerusha, daughter of Zadok, and he did what was right in the Lord's sight, just as his father Uzziah had done. Yet the high places were not taken away. The people continued sacrificing burnt offerings, burning incense on the high places. Jotham built up the upper gate of the Lord's temple. The rest of the events of Jotham's reign, along with his accomplishments, they are written in historical records of Judah's kings. And then it says, in those days the Lord began sending Rezin, king of Aram, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, against Judah. Jotham rested with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of his ancestors. David, his son, Azaz, became king in his place. So we're seeing here just continual the wickedness of the people. And again, it's just amazing, the wickedness of the people. The sin. Okay. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next study. Don't forget to like and share this video. Subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. Hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you in the next study.